Hi guys, I'm here today with Gabriel. We're gonna test the, oh my god, the, wait, Anova.
Pro
Okay,
2.
am I good to go?
Yep.
Hi guys, I'm Marlene and I'm here with Gabriel. We're gonna test the Anova Pro 2 lights today outdoors, so we'll see how it goes. Bye.
So here we are for the second part and last part of this Anova Pro 2 review. And this is the outdoor session and will be followed with some power testing. So here we are with Mother Marlene. I'm trying to set up the Anova in a way that I can get more environmental portraits, which was one of the issues that I was having because it's a small light source and it doesn't allow me to push it far the way I want, because being so small I want to keep it kind of close to the model in order to get some power out of it. As you can see, I had to remove the diffuser because it was not giving me enough to expose the background. And even at that point, I wasn't able to really expose the background the way I like. You can see some of the highlights are still blown. And I normally like to go for a more dramatic look on the background by underexposing it a bit more. But I just wasn't able. I mean, even at full power with the flash, it was just not enough. So I had to keep placing it closer to the model, which in turn makes me have more limitations in the way I can compose my shot, because then I have to get closer shots. I can go very environmental on it because then the light will be showing. I'll have to be removing in post and all that nonsense. So to me, it's hard to recommend it as my outdoor light because I just need a lot of power. I love having the power of something like the Godox AD600 or even an AD200 or a couple of those if I need to use more than one. So as you can see, I moved it around. I was able to play with it, and I think some of the results are pretty good. These results are actually non-edited, other than some basic light contrast and stuff like that, but very, very simple. For the most part, all I did was just move it from Lightroom to Photoshop, crop it, because I'm more used to doing it in Photoshop anyway, and then just export as JPEG and put it on the video. So what you're seeing is basically non-retouch from the camera, right how the Anova Pro 2 is giving me the shots with the lighting. As you see here, again, I would expose this differently if I have enough power from the light, and I could also frame it differently, showing more of around the environment. But I was limited because how close I had to place the Anova in order to get the power that I needed. Otherwise, it would start underexposing. I'm sure you can do some stuff in post and fix and the likes, but if you can get it right in the camera, well, that's the key, to speed up your workflow. When I add a piece of gear to my tools, it's supposed to help me improve my workflow and make things easier for me, instead of having me to compromise on how I compose a shot or spending more time in post in order to fix some of the shortcomings. So in that regard, as you may notice, my experience outdoors with the Anova Pro 2 is not as positive as the one indoors. Of course, this is just a daylight shoot, and if I were shooting at night or later during the day, it will definitely be more useful. But at that point, I feel like just something like the Neo 2 maybe, but an EOS might be a better option. It's smaller, it's cheaper, and at night it should give me more than enough hour to do what I need to do. So this is when I'm having a problem where to fit the Anova Pro 2. I guess I'm not the target customer for this light because it doesn't have enough power outdoors to replace my AD600 or my AD200, and I don't have a use for all the fancy video features like the lighting, police car kind of flashing and stuff like that, because I don't do like films or anything that requires that. And for my studio work, An EOS will be a better choice. It's cheaper and it will give me enough power. Or even better, something like the Godos SL200, which I'm using and I'm going to be reviewing next. So it was okay. I think the results are pretty good, but not the type of work that I enjoyed. At some points, honestly, I even got a bit frustrated trying to deal with the lack of power. It was getting to me. So for that reason, I wouldn't use it outdoors. I would go with a strobe. And if it were later in the day, sure, I will try some more constant light, because I really enjoy working with constant light, especially in studio. As you can see, I'm adjusting here because I don't know if it was just having problems with the temperature, but it was really cold that day. It was 0 degrees Fahrenheit. I had it scheduled already. I wasn't expecting it so cold, so we were both beginning to feel the effects of the cold out there. But other than that, I think that was the only piece of gear that started having issues. I don't know if it's just a fluke or what, but it suddenly stopped like flashing. I had to like reset it, and then it continued to work after that without any more issues. For reference, both the A6500, which was doing the video, and my A7R3, neither one had any issues with the cold. My fingers did, but not the cameras. So in here, there was a couple of shots that I didn't show, but they were underexposed, so I had to like move closer to the subject. So we decided to move to a different area with a different outfit, because it was really getting cold by this time. And here I really struggled with it, because the way I wanted to do the shoot, it would have required it to be farther away from the model and an angle, but it just wasn't enough to give me the power, so I had to keep pushing it closer to her and having her look towards the light most of the time. And then I was framing from a different side. Yeah, it wasn't the best for this particular one. Again, it's a bright day, as you can see, even though the overblown highlights make it look even brighter, but it was pretty bright, and it wasn't the best fit for this light, I suppose. But at this point, like I said, it was really, really cold. We were both freezing, so we decided to call it a day. As you can see, 0 degrees. So it was time to pack it up and go and check the power. So here I'm at home and doing a small clip showing the configuration for the Anova. This is their softbox. And I didn't put in the diffuser on the first part of the test. I did one with the second test. I did put a diffuser, but you will see the power readings for both. But first, let me show you here the back of the unit. This is the Anova Pro 2, and you have very similar to the Neo 2. You have the power control, and next to it you have the color temperature control. So it's just like a giant Neo 2 in most respects. And you can see here 4110. That dot means that this is the power, the most powerful that the unit can be is when at that temperature. And then when you press both buttons at the same time, you get the flash, or you can access the menu for other features, like I mentioned earlier, video features like so. Anyways, you have the battery here on the back as well, so you can use the battery, which is nice. You can also see that I'm using DC right now, so you have the button that lets you switch between DC and battery power, and some extra connectors there if you need them. I don't use them, but they're there if you can take advantage of them. And then in front we have the softbox that attaches to the metal barn doors. I didn't use the diffusers that I mentioned during the first part, but I will give power readings of one diffuser as well. So go ahead and take a look at the great test and see what the results are. And as you can see, I went all in with this magnificent chart. I promise to learn a bit more on how to do this better, but this is a presentation for today. So you can see here the overview of the settings. Basically shutter speed 1/400th of a second, just trying to minimize any ambient light effect on the readings. ISO 100, and distance from the light meter was 4 feet, and the light meter was a Koenig 858D, which is the one that can also do HHS for your reference. So let's take a look at the results. So we have at the top Anova Pro 2, $17.98 is the price. The first results are with no diffuser, only the softbox. Again, 1/400th of a second is the shutter speed. So at 4110 temperature, which is at the most powerful the unit can do, got a reading of f1.8. Now switching to 5600 Kelvin, it dropped to 1.4, so that's about a 0.70 stops loss going from 4110 to 5600. Below that we have the results with one single diffuser, and on that one we get f1.4 at 4110 and f1.1 at 5600. So as you can see, that's about 0.75 stop loss by adding the diffuser. Now if we move below that, we'll see the Godox SL60, which is $134 from B&H, or $349 if you go with the battery powered one, which looks a lot like an 8600. So that one was with the Mola Seri, the beauty dish, and this is with the mesh and the opal plates. On that one we get f.9, which is 2 stops lower than the Anova without any diffusers, and 1.3 lower than the Anova without a diffuser but at 5600. So when it comes to power, clearly the Anova is more powerful than the Godox, which of course costs much less money. One advantage that the Godox has is that it can take any bowing mounts, which is one of the things that I've been really liking about that system, which is why I bought the SL200, which you will see below. But before that, right below the SL60, we have the results for the AD200, the Godox Speedlight, and that one goes normally for about $299. That's only the unit. You can get the kit, which is like $350, and it has quite a few accessories with it. Again, this is using the same Mola Seri with the mesh and opal plates. On that one, we are getting f12.7, and that's huge because that's 4.45 more stops of power than the Anova Pro 2, and 6.2 stops more powerful than the Anova when it's at 5600. So when the Anova is at its most powerful, which is at Kelvin of 4110, the AD200 is still 5.45 f-stops more powerful. And this is really key for me because this is one of the reasons I can personally use the Anova Pro 2 for my style of outdoor shoot, during the day at least, because it just doesn't have enough power. Something like the AD600 is a lot more powerful, and even the $300 AD200s, as you can see, is able to give me 5.45 more stops of power, and that is huge to me. So now below that we can get to see the Godox SL200, which again, just like the SL60, is a constant LED, and that one goes for $360, and that one is giving me f1.4. That's equal to the power of the Anova at 5600 without any diffuser in that case, 0.70 stops lower than Anova at 4110. Again, this SL200 will also be able to use any Bowens mount, so I can use my strip softboxes, my Mola, my glow softboxes, anything that is Bowens mount fits there, and that flexibility is huge for me. It's only one daylight temperature. There's no fancy features like that. There's no video features like police car lights or fireplaces, lightning and things, but it's a very basic, but it does its job. It has the power that I need. And the CRI rating of it is actually 93, I believe, which is really good. And when I do any editing on it, the skin colors and everything looks really good. So there's no complaints in that department either. So the only complaint really is just that it's not portable, so it's not like a battery power unit, and it doesn't have any extra features if you need them. You have a remote, you have a power LED or on the back, or LCD, so you can read the power, and that's about it. Anyways, back to the Anova Pro 2. So my conclusion on this unit, it's really good unit. I mean, it has all the features of the AOS and more. It has more power, but the problem that I have with it is just doesn't have the power to replace my AD600 outdoors during daylight, which is what I shoot most of the time. And if, like I said before, if I needed it for night or lower later times during the day, I may as well just go with AOS or similar and save some money. So for my personal needs, it just doesn't fit in my tools at the price. and the power that is not there for what I need to replace an 8600 or use it more often than having a unit at that price and not being able to use it most of the time. It doesn't make sense for my specific needs. Now maybe you have different needs, you shoot at different times, or you don't have the same style of shoot that I do, underexposing a lot of my background and things like that, and maybe this is the perfect unit for you. Or maybe you just need it very close to the subject for a more close-up type of shoots during outdoors, and that will work great too. But when I go outdoors, I'm going more for very environmental shots with very a lot of the subject showing and a lot of the background, and at that point I need something that is I can fit a bigger softbox and put it farther away and give me a lot of power so I can drop the exposure on the background and things like that. And unfortunately the Anova Pro 2 just doesn't do it for me. So overall, it's hard for me to recommend it in that department, because at the price and power, it just doesn't fit on my specific needs. But I know there's a lot of people out there that has different needs, and I would like to hear from you. Are you planning to add Anova Pro 2 to your tools? How do you plan to use it? What are your shooting styles? Just make some comments and let me know, because I'm interested to see what other photographers are doing with it. I know people like Jason Lanier, I uses it a lot, although normally he's using it at night or some cave or an abandoned building, and at that point I can use an EOS probably and just do as well. For outdoor during the day, that is my problem with it. So I may get an EOS. I'm working probably on getting one just for the extra features, because I'm getting more into the video side of things and trying to learn. I may want to take advantage of those cool video features that it has, just like my Neos. I've been using the Neos a lot at home, especially for like smoke and adding different colors and things like that, and they work great. So it's not like I hate the Anova or anything like that. It's just the price and performance doesn't fit my needs. That's all there is to it. If it's yours, that's great. Evaluate, look at the results that I got. Like I mentioned earlier, all the photos that I posted on this specific shoot are non-edited, basically just straight from the camera, so you can see the quality that you can get from it. Let me know if you have any questions. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll get more videos coming up soon. Thank you for watching.